I was exhausted. It was summer 2022 in northern Pakistan, a region bordering China and India that hosts the largest number of glaciers outside of the North Pole and Antarctica. So it's been an hour since I started waiting in a car for my hiking buddy to conquer his second glacier hike in a week. I decided not to go with him because my legs were exhausted from a 16-kilometer hike that we just did 2 days ago. But it got boring really quickly, and I couldn't help but feel that maybe I was missing out on something special. So I told our driver, who was waiting together with me at the time, maybe we can just go into the mountain to see the glacier one more time for a bit, and we'll come back in, within an hour. And he agreed to come with me. So in fact, the glacier was actually not too far away from the entry point where we were at. We have to walk past a plain where you could see some big black pipes scattered on the ground, which was kind of weird, by the way. But after walking past that, you see a small ridge where you have to hike up, and the glacier was just behind the ridge. And it probably took us less than an hour, which is not too bad, So we saw the glacier, we hang around the ridge, and we decided to head back. And on our way back to the car, we spot this young man preparing food, chopping chicken, in this almost a full-fledged open-air kitchen in the middle of nowhere. And you see kitchen equipment everywhere. You see a big pot boiling on a wood fire. You see plates and utensils. And it was right at the plain where we saw the big black pipes. Well, I got curious about this out-of-the-blue cooking arrangement in the middle of nowhere. And I also wondered whether this young man knew what was going on with the pipes. So we went ahead and said hi. And his name is Tariq. He smiled at us and stopped whatever he was doing at that moment to tell us the story. So remember the black pipes? It turns out that the black pipes were initially connected to deliver water from the glacier that we just saw to the village where Tariq's family lives for irrigation purposes. But now they were disconnected because some fixes and adjustments had to be made to suit the changing water flow because the glacier that we just saw was melting at an unusual rate. TLDR, not good at all. And as we spoke, there was a group of locals walking towards us and waving at Tariq. They were all from Tariq's village, holding different kind of day job, decided to come together on a weekday afternoon to the mountain to fix the water pipes. And Tariq, on the other hand, who's a trained chef, put together a makeshift kitchen in the middle of the mountain to make sure everyone is well fed before they started working. And trust me, at a point in time, I was feeling a whole load of different emotions. I was impressed by how united a community can be, who put their day job aside to come together to solve a problem that's faced by their people. I was also in shocked by the reality that the changing climate was already impacting the livelihood and the survival of real people. And that happened before my eyes. I was also in shame and in guilt as someone who is indifferent to climate change the whole time, and also as someone who probably has caused a lot more damages to the earth than the community that I just met. And yet, I had a choice to just come back home right after the trip, pretend none of this was real, none of this happened. And a few days later, while I was still in the country, I heard it from a friend that a flash flood just happened that was caused by a sudden glacial outburst affected another village that I just visited a few days back. A bridge got washed away. There was no delivery of food or resources. And the people that I just said goodbye to were stranded. And I could have been one of them. And how could I pretend none of this happened? And I dreamt about the trip, the mountain, the flood, the collapsed bridge for 2 weeks straight, even after the trip. But what do I do? What do I know? I didn't know anyone who's in my close circle who cared more about climate change than I did at that point. So I did tons of Google searches, trying to find people and community to keep me accountable while I learn about climate change. And I went on a deep end. So I found a few communities online, joined Work on Climate as one of the volunteers, and I also participated in Climate Fresk and became one of the facilitators. And I even took a 3-month cohort-based course with Tara.do to learn more about climate science and what the potential solutions are, even outside of my work. And most recently, with some of my friends, we managed to gather about 60 to 70 people all together who work or want to work on climate in one room to seek collaborations and exchange insights twice. And the story doesn't end here. It cannot end here. It's an ongoing journey filled by the memory of that day that we'll never forget about. And I hope you join us soon. Thank you.